Top of the morning to you, Nigeria. The midweek is here again, and with it, another round of politics, policies, and personalities shaping the national pulse. I am Manulu Akboido.
And I'm Oluwayemi Adelako. This is Daybreak Live, where we cut through the noise and get straight to the issues defining governance, leadership, and the people's realities.
We start with a statement that has stirred reactions across political circles. Governor Peter Mba of Enugu State says, "I fell in love," I quote, with President Tinubu the day he announced fuel subsidy removal, a declaration that has reignited national conversation on the cost and consequence of that bold economic move.
For some, it's a mark of political courage, the kind of tough decision Nigeria has long avoided. For others, it's a painful policy that has driven inflation, widened inequality, and tested citizens' resilience. Either way, it underscores how governance and loyalty often intersect in Nigeria's political theater.
Absolutely. Indeed, later in the show, we'll bring you Daybreak news, tracking the latest developments shaping Nigeria's governance, economy, and society. After that, we'll turn to the newspaper headlines and analysis, unpacking the front pages stories and their political undertones.
And in our big story today, we take a step back from partisan lines to ask a deeper question. Rethinking leadership, a new mindset for a new Nigeria. Because perhaps what Nigeria needs now isn't just policy reform, but a moral and mental reawakening.
Our guest for that conversation is Dr. Samson Olashupo Ayokunle, CON, a theologian, sociologist, educator, and peace builder, a man whose perspective bridges faith, governance, and national values.
Then we'll wrap things up with Trend Watch, exploring the political currents and social trends that are shaping conversations across Nigeria.
Definitely. From love for leadership to the search for better governance, the questions remain the same. Where is Nigeria headed, and who is steering the ship?
You answered that question this morning. So with us, the morning gets deeper from air. This is Daybreak Live, where thoughts meet the truth.
Absolutely. Good morning to you. I'm truth. You are trust.
Really? How did you come about that?
Perhaps we should.
Okay, let's talk about Peter Mba, because when I read the story yesterday, of course, as expected, he has just, defected to the APC and is coming out to say, "I fell in love with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he removed subsidy." And honestly, I was thinking maybe before the close of the day yesterday, the DSS department, or let me say the investigative journalists in the Department of Nigeria, will look out for videos and then post online. And by now, the videos will be flying around to say, okay, when the subsidy was removed, Peter Mba said this and said that. Now he's saying, "I fell in love with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu." Surprisingly, I've not seen anything like that. And it appears maybe, indeed, I fell in love with him at the point when he removed the subsidy. What do you make of that?
So I'll make of it simple. To first start that conversation, I'll ask myself, if I'm to join Yemi's Democratic Party, what do I need to do? I need to say things that will soothe you. I need to say things that most likely would make you, okay. So you've been watching me. So more like I'll say a lot of things that might be in your favor, which would not be very far away from what Peter Mba has done. But not to take away the fact that he probably thought about this a long time ago, because he also said that he's written many articles in that direction, and he's also in the thick of things as to the,
No, he worked in the oil and gas before joining politics.
The oil and gas industry. So he said a lot of things around that. That's why is given into the party. But again, this begs the question of ideological leadership in Nigeria. I used to say a lot of times that when we have this kind of situations, one thing that comes to mind is, why do people defect so easily? I mean, for example, the United States, there are two major parties. Yes, either you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. And in the Democrats, there are different ideological patterns, there are different political stands and policies that are very, very different to what they have at the Republican. So for you to, move from one party to the other, it means you are saying no to everything you've once said. It means you are coming against every of your ideological stance and beliefs that, okay, I want to change my stance now and I want to go for something that I think is superior to what I've always believed in. So if you consider that space to be an ideological battle in some crimes, and here in Nigeria, anybody can just move, because most parties are not even based on ideological stance. Whatever they want to do, they're not strong philosophies. Anybody can come in with their own ideology and enter into those particular spaces, especially if they have interest or they have the number, as it were. They have the masses behind them. They can join any party, move from one party. It's so easy to make that transition, which is not supposed to be. Because if parties are ideological, or if they are philosophical, if they have tenants that they work with all day, all night, then the people would not find it easy to do that. But again, not to take it away from Peter Omba saying that he's defecting from wherever he was to APC. It's a good one for him, maybe. But again, you know, at the end of the day, I think the question again that I keep asking is, if everybody gets to go to APC, who becomes the leader?
It's a sad question. And then I don't know whether the answer is going to be a sad one as well.
Absolutely.
But you spoke about something, and I would love to comment on that as well. I think the political system of Nigeria is not so rigid. It's very flexible, and that's why people will, you know, do a lot of things, work against the party, and even talk about it on national TV, and nothing is done. It tells you a lot of things, you know, are allowed, maybe because they sponsor the party, or maybe they are top shots in the party. Nothing is going to be, you know, done on that. But then let's take it back to Peter Omba. You know, before now, most of the governors that are defected from the PDP to the APC, their claim was, oh, we want to align with the center. And I'm asking the question, will this increase your revenue, you know, for every month? I'm not quite sure about that. But then Peter Omba, you know, came through another door to say it's not even about aligning with the center alone. It's because I am in love. I love to use that word. I'm in love with the policies of, you know, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And he didn't just mention the fuel subsidy removal. He talked about the foreign exchange as well. You know, to talk about that. Maybe while he was still in PDP, he was looking at, you know, the APC, or looking at the reforms of, you know, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to say, okay, soon or later, I'm going to join this political party, which he has done yesterday. And then my analyst said something yesterday, and I think APC, you know, should look out for this. He said, if all these people keep leaving their political party, they are not leaving because they want to leave. They are leaving because the party, you know, is going through a lot. Internal issues, leadership issues, you know, the interests of these people are clashing, and that's why they're moving to the ruling party. So if they're moving to another party, how sure is the APC that these people that are moving in will not come and cause another, you know, problem for the APC? But one thing I love about APC is the fact that when it comes to their internal issues, they don't make it public like the other political parties. I'm not sure you will agree with me on that. Do you agree with me on that?
Well, I think I would probably say yes, for a lot of reasons, right?
Okay.
So they've had their own cup of tea too. They've had their own problems too, and they've managed it in a way they were able to do that. But you know, not to say that PDP's problem is not really, it's not deep. It's a systemic problem, and there's no way you hide such problems, especially with the opposition party trying to blow your horns to say these people are already in this harmony, and they're trying to call every other person to join them. But again, one of the things you mentioned, I think I should also harp on a bit is, when you spoke about Peter Omba, asking that when he said this, can we get videos to when he probably said it at force? Maybe when he agreed or disagreed with President Tinubu's reform and all of those things. Can we get videos of that? Maybe we would get in the course of time. But
they are working on it.
You're working on it?
No, I said they are working
I
on
thought
it.
you said maybe you're working for President.
You see that platform, X? No. They do the job, and they do it very well. So let's say they are working on it.
But like you also mentioned, let me speak to the issue of the PDP, right?
Okay.
Recently, just in our news yesterday, before our broadcast, we also told you that the governor of your state, Engineer Seyi Makinde, was assuring the public that, yes, that November 15, 16 convention, PDP convention, is going to stand in Ibadan, you know, and then he made that a public thing in Abuja. And that's maybe coming off the heels of the claims of people defecting, and that the other part is also a part of Wike, you know, saying that would not stand. They have some of the things they are putting on, but to say you cannot have this convention, and of course a particular court ruled in favor of that convention standing. You know, so there's a lot of crisis around the PDP sector, but what is more important now is that if they can put their house in order, just like Makinde also said, that they are going to reform, they are going to do a lot of things that will make the party, you know, a very good party to be reckoned with in the course of the 2027 election, which we are also expecting. But we should say also, PDP should tie their loose ends and ensure that they can get it right in the forthcoming 2027 election.
Okay, I think you're very spot on. And then just quickly, let me speak about what you mentioned earlier, talking about whether Peter Omba will now stand against all that, you know, he resonated with at the time when he was in PDP. In politics, there are no permanent enemies. There are no permanent friends. Anything can change. So
it's all about interest.
It's all about interest. So I don't know whether, you know, he was wooed on certain things, and that's why he felt, I want to defect to the APC. We'll get to find out at the end of the day, because, I mean, if he's not going to benefit him, I don't think he's going to defect to the the APC, the ruling government, and expect more defection
Exactly.
from the PDP. And it's a very sad one that a party that wants rule Nigeria for 16 years, can, be in this kind of situation, no matter how bad it can be. I never expected PDP, to be in this state.
Maybe that rings a bell. That rings a lot of bell to say there's no champion forever. When we play table tennis in our local places, we say there's no champion forever. You're only a champion for now. Because if you claim championship today, tomorrow someone else might come and beat you pants down. And you can definitely, it's normal. It's just a normal trajectory in life. But again, PDP would do a lot to really get back on their toes. They need to really do a lot of things they should do. And I'm hoping that they get it right too.
And I just hope that they can get to power at one time. I'm not sure about 2027, because for them to get back on track, it will take them, to actually, be in power again. For them to regain that, confidence, that power. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but then it's up to them, and I wish them well. And of course, speaking about whether they are going to have a strong candidate for the next, election, is still a bone of contention.
Some are also saying, some are suggesting the governor of your state, Engineer Seyi Makinde, and then it's not said anything publicly.
There was a time he even said, don't mind those people trying to,
But they are politicians. You can wake up tomorrow and say, okay,
yeah,
Seyi Makinde for president. It's not impossible. This is Nigeria and this is politics.
But I don't see him contesting though. Anything can happen.
Well, I think he mentioned also when he was at the State House to present his budget that he's not doing again. That he just wants to rest after his tenure. He wants to go somewhere, Maldives.
Maybe Wiki. I don't think Wiki wants to risk it after all that is going on in the PDP.
Wiki has the strength, if you ask me.
But he said several times that, okay, I'm willing to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the next election.
Everybody says so until you see their name on the ballot.
But is it possible for you to say I want to support the ruling governor and the ruling president and still contest
he's supporting the ruling president because he's working with the president, so he can change minds and say, okay, this administration is over and I want a new one, and now I'm going for something else. But he probably has to resign first.
Definitely.
So he does, because of the all of those things that might be in that sect.
All right, I don't see him contesting though, but then let's keep checking. Let's keep waiting to see who's going to be the flag bearer of that party. I'm very sure that the political sphere of Nigeria, we'll be so happy to hear, who's going to lead that party in the next general elections. Thank you for being a part of the segment. We need to take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll take the weather reports. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at DominionCast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
I welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. It's time to take the weather report. And this morning, let's start with Ibadan. The weather this morning feels like 24 degrees Celsius, and later in the morning is expected to be around 27 degrees Celsius. Mostly cloudy, around 6%. In the afternoon, 29 degrees Celsius, scattered thunderstorms, around 47%. In the evening, 24 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, around 16%. And overnight, 23 degrees Celsius, cloudy, around 12%. That's what we have for Ibadan this morning.
And from Ibadan to Abeokuta South, Ogun State particularly is where we are now. The weather feels like 24 degrees Celsius generally, and in the morning part of Abeokuta South this morning, 27 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy. In afternoon, 30 degrees Celsius, scattered thunderstorms expected, and it's also cloudy around evening, 25 degrees Celsius, and overnight, 24 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy also in Abeokuta South, Ogun State today.
All right, let's cross over to the Lagos State. Weather this morning feels like 25 degrees Celsius, and later this morning is expected to be around 27 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 6%. And in the afternoon, 29 degrees Celsius, cloudy around 22%. In the evening, 26 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 24%. And overnight, 25 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 11%. That's what we have for Lagos State this morning.
And if you're traveling from Lagos to Ekiti East, particularly Ekiti State today, the weather feels like 22 degrees Celsius, and later in the morning 26 degrees Celsius is what is expected, mostly cloudy. And afternoon is also 27 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy in Ekiti East this morning, and even 22 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy as well. And overnight 21 degrees Celsius, cloudy in Ekiti East, Ekiti State today.
Well, let's cross over to Ilori East Kwara. Weather this morning feels like 23 degrees Celsius. Later in the morning is expected to be around 27 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 5%. And in the afternoon, 30 degrees Celsius, scattered thunderstorms around 46%. In the evening, 24 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 24%. And overnight, 23 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 11%. That's what we have for Ilori East Kwara this morning.
And in Osogbo, Osun State today, weather feels like 23 degrees Celsius, and later in the morning 27 degrees Celsius. Is mostly cloudy. Afternoon, there's a promise of thunderstorms at 29 degrees Celsius, and evening 23 degrees Celsius cloudy. It retains the same count, 23 degrees Celsius overnight, cloudy as well in Osogbo, Osun State, Nigeria.
Well, let's drive down to Kaduna North. Kaduna this morning, weather feels like 22 degrees Celsius, and later in the morning is expected to be around 27 degrees Celsius, sunny around 1%. In the afternoon, 30 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 9%. And in the evening, 23 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 6%. Overnight, 21 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 8%. That's what we have for Kaduna North. Kaduna this morning.
And averagely in Kano, of course, Kano State today, weather feels like 22 degrees Celsius. It moves straight up to 30 degrees Celsius. Quite sunny in the morning aspect of weather in Kano Municipal, Kano State this morning. 34 degrees Celsius, also sunny in the afternoon. And evening, 25 degrees Celsius, clear. And overnight, 21 degrees Celsius, also clear in Kano State today, Nigeria.
Well, let's cross over to FCT Abuja this morning. Weather feels like 23 degrees Celsius. And later in the morning is expected to be around 27 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, around 3%. In the afternoon, 28 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, around 21%. And in the evening, 23 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy, around 9%. Overnight, 22 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, around 8%. The wind is expected to be around 2 kilometers per hour, and dew point 22. That's what we have for FCT Abuja this morning.
And there's a slight variation in the largest city, the largest state, I mean to say Nigeria, that's Suleja, Niger State today. The weather starts with 23 degrees Celsius, and later in the morning it moves up to 27 degrees Celsius in Suleja, Niger State. And afternoon, 28 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, and mostly cloudy also in the evening, 23 degrees Celsius, and a slight change by reducing to 1. That's 22 degrees Celsius overnight. Mostly cloudy also in Suleja, Niger State.
Have you been to Suleja before?
Yes, I've been to Niger State before.
Definitely, I can sense
I'm
that.
cosmopolitan.
Oh, really? I want to be like you one day. Thank you for being a part of the segment. We need to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll take the news. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB Van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB Van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Hello and welcome. This is Daybreak News on Dominion Television. My name is Anoluakbo Idobu. President Bola Tinubu has urged West African leaders to push for the designation of resource theft, illegal mining, and mineral smuggling as international crimes, saying such acts have become grave threat to regional peace, stability, and development. Tinubu, who was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, made the call in Abuja at the annual general meeting of the Network of National Anti-Corruption Institutions in West Africa. The president lamented that the proceeds of theft not only deprive citizens of development benefits, but also fund insecurity and proliferation of small arms, banditry, and kidnapping across the region. He therefore urged delegates to examine the extractive sector, financial intelligence sharing, and anti-money laundering frameworks to strengthen accountability across West Africa. The Federal Ministry of Education recently disclosed that Nigerian senior secondary school students in arts and humanities would no longer be required to present a credit in mathematics in their senior school certificate examination as a condition for admission into universities and polytechnics. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, described the reform as a deliberate effort to expand access to tertiary education. Tunji Alausa added that the revised national guidelines for entry requirements into Nigerian tertiary institutions are designed to remove barriers while maintaining academic standards. The Senate has constituted a 12-member ad hoc committee to advise the legislature on how to respond to growing international concerns over alleged state-backed prosecution in Nigeria. The decision was reached during a closed-door session today where lawmakers deliberated on recent claims by the United States government suggesting possible acts of genocide targeting Christians in some parts of the country. The president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, who made the declaration, noted that the committee is expected to come up with a document that would shape Nigeria's legislative stance on the matter and guide its engagement in ongoing international discussions. The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has faulted the federal government's implementation of a no-work, no-pay policy over the striking members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. In a statement, NLC President Joe Ajaero said that the ASU warning strike is a direct consequence of government's refusal to honor collectively bargained agreements. Ajaero then called on the federal government to immediately set aside its threat and use the 2-week window to address the core issues in the negotiated agreement with ASU. And in Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde has warned those attempting to disrupt preparations for the People's Democratic Party's forthcoming national convention slated for November 15 and 16 in Ibadan, Oyo State, describing such efforts as an attempt to stop a moving train. Makinde, who spoke with journalists shortly after the inauguration of the PDP National Convention Transportation Subcommittee in Abuja, pledged that Oyo State will deliver the best convention in the party's history. Responding to several defection claims on the party, Governor Makinde, in his capacity as the chairman of the National Convention Transportation Subcommittee, affirmed that the event would proceed as planned. In business, Nigeria's agricultural sector is set for a major financial boost as the European Union approved a 190 million euros credit line to expand lending to farmers and agribusinesses through Nigerian commercial banks and development finance institutions. The facility, provided by the European Investment Bank (EIB), was announced during a bilateral meeting between senior EIB executives and a delegation from the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning on the sidelines of the Global Gateway Forum held recently in Brussels, Belgium. The statement was confirmed by the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning Special Advisor on Media, Bolaji Adeniyi, who stated that the goal is to de-risk agricultural lending and build institutional capacity for long-term financing in the sector. In sport, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have defeated the Cheetahs of Benin Republic 4-0 in the decisive 2026 World Cup qualification at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen's hat-trick and second-half goal from substitute Frank Onyeka were enough to give Nigeria 3 points against Benin in its quest to qualify for the World Cup. Although the goals were not enough to give Nigeria the qualification ticket, as leaders, South Africa secured 3 points by beating Rwanda 3-0, qualifying for the World Cup tournament in the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico in 2026. Eric Charles' men must now wait to see whether they will claim a place among the 4 best runners-up from Africa. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. And as Daybreak News, I am Anuluakpo Idobu. Thank you for watching.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
While there are defection stories across the country in Nigeria, there's also a calm. You know, after the storm comes the calm. For the calm, I'm talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, but it's not yet a calm. I don't know what to call it anyway. But there's hope for the country Nigeria, but the hope might go through the eye of a needle, but eventually to come and become something great. Welcome to this very exciting segment of Newspaper Review Analysis, where we check into the stories that are breaking across the news platforms in the country Nigeria, the big stories, the high points, the low points of every story. We check right on this very platform. And thank you. We get into the stories right immediately. The Guardian newspaper, the Punch newspaper, the Nation newspaper, and many other stories are here with me this morning. And I'll start with the Guardian newspaper, and that's talking politics. APC consolidate power as Mba ends PDP's 26-year reign in Enugu. That's the story to check out this morning. The Guardian newspaper has it boldly written on the front page: APC consolidates power as Mba ends PDP's 26-year born in Enugu. That's talking about the defection of Peter Mba, the governor of Enugu, to the APC, as you can see on your screen. Again, PDP postpones NEC meeting indefinitely. That is also coming off the heels of the People's Democratic Party in the country Nigeria. How ASU's action allegedly sabotaged federal government truce effort. That is the story you might want to check out on the Guardian newspaper. Also, on the top corner, the right-hand side of the Guardian newspaper this morning, federal government approves new admission reforms, raises tertiary intake to 1 million yearly. And talking in the economics and business, IMF, that's the International Monetary Fund, Cardoso isolate Nigeria from global uncertainty, raise growth prospect. Also a story to talk about this morning. Tinubu has said to ECOWAS, declare stolen mineral resources an international crime. That seems to be a big one, a spotlight to check out this morning. Moving on from the Guardian newspaper to this Nigeria newspaper. And on the front page of this Nigeria, PDP bleeds is the caption. PDP bleeds seriously as Mba finally joins APC. That story is on this Nigerian newspaper this morning. Enugu government laments marginalization. Jury covers next with 74 seats. Ruling party secures two-thirds majority in Senate. This day, Nigeria says that PDP is bleeding. Are they really bleeding? Anyway, we get into all of those conversations in the course of this event. Nigeria's youth unemployment rate rises to 6.5%, says ILO. Not a good one, really. But moving on from that story, Senate demands urgent action and rescue of Nigerian women, children in Libyan prisons. That is also a story right there. The Blueprint newspaper has the story of business to tell this body, saying Shell invest $2 billion in Nigeria's OML 144 offshore gas development. Federal government eats $8 billion. Tinubu says it's renewed investor confidence. We are now a preferred energy destination. That's coming from the Minister Heineken Lopobiri of oil in the country. Now, Kanu says Northern Youth Group plans counter rally against Atiku Showore on October 20. That is also something. Like I said, the story that is also right there on the Blueprint newspaper is World Cup qualifier. Super Eagles wallop Benin Republic 4-0, set for playoffs. Playoff should better pay off for the Super Eagles. And of course, we have to go on a very quick break. When we come back, we'll get into the analysis of these particular stories that we've raised, issues of concern, stories that are breaking and trending, and we'll get all of that analysis with my guest. Stay with us after this break.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Thank you for staying tuned. This is Steve, the newspaper headlines and analysis segment of the broadcast on Daybreak Live. Today we get into the stories and analysis proper. I have with me in the studio Eboselume Ignatius Ofino. Good morning to you this morning.
Good morning, Anu.
It's so good to have you again.
I'm delighted to be here this morning.
I'm actually extra delighted because of the Super Eagles. You know, they are going for the playoff. But the question again is, will that pay off? Because they still have to do a lot of things. They'll still play a lot of people before they get their qualification. Just speak quickly in 30 seconds to that.
I was so excited when we defeated the Republic of Benin. It was a difficult match.
A beautiful one at that.
You know, sometimes there's one thing I've discovered about the Super Eagles. Sometimes they come with surprises. There was a lot of castigations. We casted a lot of aspersion on them because we felt that they almost disappointed the nation. But yesterday, there was a respite and a relief. And I'm saying it definitely, Nigeria will definitely qualify for the 2026 World Cup in the United States.
Does it not speak volume of the resilience of the Nigerian spirit?
Nigerians are so resilient. So resilient. The most celebrated black nation on earth is Nigeria. But it's rather sad and unfortunate when it comes to the issue of leadership. Nigeria, as a country, has failed Africa.
Speaking of leadership, we'll get into the story of leadership. And now, PDP is bleeding according to a particular newspaper this morning. And what they have is PDP bleeds seriously as Mba finally joins APC. We've seen the issue of defection in recent times. And before now, it's not even a new thing. It's not novel. It's been up and running in the country, Nigeria. But again, the question I want to bring out of this is that how many big wigs can a party lose for it to really bleed? Or is PDP bleeding? Ignatius?
You know, when you are saying that PDP is bleeding, it's a figurative expression and metaphorical. But the truth there is this. Group of people decide to form an association. So there must be one thing that is germane. The goals, the vision, and the objective is what is very germane. But when we are talking about PDP, remember the founding fathers. Most of them has gone. It's rather sad and unfortunate that a political party that once ruled Nigeria for 16 years cannot be able to resolve its internal crisis. PDP as a political party is presenting itself as a bad example before the rest of the world.
Does it undermine their credibility come 2027?
It undermines it. There's one thing you must understand. The African National Congress, ANC, marked 100 years of existence. It was not founded by Nelson Mandela, no. But that party has been in existence. But look at it. It has been sustained till date. From Nelson Mandela. Then came Thabo Mbeki. Then came Jacob Zuma. Then came Cyril Ramaphosa. That is how to know a political party that has ideology, that has a future, that has a vision and a goal. But most of our politicians in this country, what they are interested more is their own personal interest, selfish interest. There is one thing we call vested interest. It's there. So most of them are political merchants. They don't have the interest of the nation at heart. So most of them, they are just there in politics, political jobbers. They want to make money. They want to exploit the people's resources. They want to oppress the people. That is why we are getting it wrong. Look at the defection. Does he speak well? Men of moral conscience are always firm and resolute. That is why, give it to your president. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has a firm conviction. He has been in the opposition since 1999. Till luck beckoned on him, and now he's the president. He's a good model.
Let's talk a bit about the president now, because when Peter Ombah, the governor of Enugu State, announced his defection, he said that was on the premise of loving, that's the way he put it. He said he loves the policies, this fuel subsidy removal and the foreign exchange unification and all of the policies of the current administration of Tinubu. He said that was why he's leaving the PDP for the APC.
His reasons are weak.
But he just said Tinubu is doing well. So he
personal interest. Do you know that he has subverted the popular will of the good people of Enugu State who voted for him, who voted for that party called PDP? It was his own personal volition. It was not the people's volition. The people are not happy with him.
Are you sure?
The electorate, subversion of the people's will. There should be consequence. Why? The party candidate, the party decided to nominate you and float you as their flag bearer in a public election, and at the end of the day, based on your own personal conviction or reasons best known to you, you decide to defect. There should be a consequence for that. Our own form of politics must imbibe morality. It's rather sad and unfortunate. When Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the only opposition governor in the Southwest, he did not feel it was necessary for him to join the PDP. So why don't you replicate the president's policy in your own state? There is what we call the national economy and the state economy. Do you know that we have what we call state GDP too? So his reasons are weak. There is what we call overriding public interest. So it's rather sad and unfortunate. For now, they are making history. Like, let me give you an instance again concerning the issue of Wikeism. Wikeism is a new political theory that you can be in your own political party, work against the party without being sanctioned. That is Wikeism. It was Wike that developed that political ideology.
Anyway,
there must be party discipline.
Let's move on a bit from the party politics to talk about what ILO is saying. ILO is International Labour Organization. They brought out a report recently. They said Nigeria's youth unemployment has risen to 6.5%. And that's alarming. That's shocking. But speak to this issue.
When we talk about macroeconomic variables, there are three. One, GDP, gross domestic product. You are talking about the value being derived from the sale of the total volume of goods and services produced by citizens of a country in a given year. Then the next one is what we call inflation. When you are talking about inflation, you are talking about the persistent rise in the general price level. Then when you are now talking about the third one, which is what the rate of unemployment, that how many people are in the workforce and how many people are outside the workforce. So when we are talking about inflation, there is what we call monetary policy and fiscal policy. The ruling government is in charge of fiscal policy. When you are talking about fiscal policy of government, you are talking about the budgeting, revenue generation. They can mostly government generate revenue from exports. They also generate revenue from taxes. But when you are talking about inflation now, it is a monetary policy. The central bank has that responsibility to control inflation. So the central bank governor also have the responsibility to ensure what we call financial system stability. How do we stabilize the foreign exchange regime? That is your duty. But now what we're having in Nigeria today is rising inflation, astronomical increase. There is one thing I'm going to say on this platform this morning. You can never have a zero inflation economy. I repeat again. You can never have a zero inflation economy, but you can strive to ensure there is a single digit inflation in your economy. But here in Nigeria today, sometimes we are having what we call double digit inflation. And it does not speak well when in terms of what we call a stronger economy or a strong economy or what we call economic growth. For now in Nigeria, we have economic growth, at least 4.1%. That is significant. But in terms of what? Revenue generation from taxes, from crude export. But what about the manufacturing sector? Those are the real sector of the economy. You talk about agricultural sector, you talk about the manufacturing sector, you talk about the service sector. In the service sector, Nigeria is actually thriving. But in the service sector, the micro-scale businesses and small-scale businesses, they drive the economy. But in Nigeria today, we don't have a stable power supply. So it's a problem. Where are the manufacturing firms in Nigeria today? 800 business firms left the shores of this country. It's so sad and unfortunate. So we have a long way to go in terms of having what we call economic development. Nigeria is currently having what we call economic growth. But is it going to be sustainable? But what about economic development? Economic development supersedes economic growth. So economic growth is not the same thing as economic development. Economic development simply means a sustainable economic growth over time.
Over time. Yes, let's speak on something else that deals with maybe time, you would say. Now, the president was speaking somewhere, and then he was speaking to ECOWAS leaders, you know, and he was telling them something that was in his heart, something you probably think they should work on. He said, declare stolen mineral resources an international crime. There's a lot of conspiracy theories about this particular issue of how countries, the big guns, the world leaders are coming to African states and getting resources. They get it in a way that is not so obvious. But when they give grants and money and when they are borrowings, it becomes a camera thing. But when they collect the resources, it's under the table. Now, the president has said that people who come to do illegal mining, people who come to steal mineral resources should be declared as international crime offenders. What do you make of this?
I absolutely agree with the president. There is one book I have in my shelf. Why Nations Fail. The Origin of Power, Prosperity, Prosperity, and Poverty. Written by Deron Asimonglu. He talked about the power in the extractive industry. You talk about how to extract natural resources. The scrabble for natural resources. There is conflict in the Middle East, conflict in Africa, caused by the West. Because of what? The scrabble for natural resources. Africa happened to be the center of the world. It's located within the center of the world. Africa is naturally blessed with a lot of natural resources. Look at the crisis in Democratic Republic of Congo. Look at the Rwanda genocide. The blood diamond is there. So what Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said, I concur with him. So there is what we call international conspiracy. Is there. The conspiracy is there. On the part, Africa have the resources, but they don't have the technology to extract these resources, to exploit these resources. There is what we call multinational joint venture between the government and Shell in Nigeria. The multinational companies in the Niger Delta today, they have the oil ring and the oil platform. They have the technology. The technology is there. We only owns what? The resources. And I keep saying it today. They are finished products. You derive more revenue from finished product than from raw material. So Africa today, what we need is technology. Technology is not free. Nobody will give you technology free. So there have been a problem. Now look at what is happening in Zamfara. It's because of what? The extractive industry. The gold that is there is a gold mine being extracted. Foreigners are coming into our country. Illegal miners, they are there. So there is a lot of problem.
But Ignatius, sorry to cut you. Without an opening, without a loophole, there won't be any infiltration. There won't be any penetration.
Yes,
so if the president now says that we should declare international crimes on people who offend by, extracting minerals illegally, does it not speak volume of what are you doing? Because if you say that people should do that, what exactly are you doing to ensure that is forestalled? What are you doing to ensure that those crevices, those loopholes are taken care of? Because if you say that, it's more like you are appointing the blame on someone else to say you should do this, when it's your responsibility as a president. I want you to speak to that in a few minutes.
Yes, I concur with what your observation, which is right. You must walk the talk. Talk is cheap. Action is necessary. But there's one thing you must understand. In the Niger Delta, it is assumed that the oil belongs to all of us. But in the Northern Protectorate, they assume that the solid mineral belongs to the North. So that was the conspiracy. The president is from the South. So when you are talking more about solid minerals, most of the Nigerian solid minerals is located in the North. So the North believes that the solid minerals belong to them, not to the nation. So that has been the issue in this country. So now the people of the Niger Delta are agitating for resource control. Why? Because they feel that there is an injustice. There is what we call economic injustice and sabotage. When some certain few are exploiting your resources that were supposed to be our commonwealth, certain group of people are exploiting it. I think that is economic sabotage, and there must be a consequence for that. So the president has a role to tighten the security, and those who have been arrested should be prosecuted according to the law.
Let's talk about your investments in education. I know you are invested in education, and it's something very dear to your heart. So let's speak to that issue. Now, federal government has approved new admission reforms and raises tertiary intake to 1 million yearly. But that's not the goal. What I'm trying to drive at is, according to one of the reforms too, arts and humanities will not have to take mathematics as a core subject. They will not need to present that to get into tertiary institutions. What do you make of this? Are we letting go of mathematics because it's not needed or is needed? What do you make of this?
This is not a serious government. When I read the news yesterday, I was disappointed. Mathematics is the nucleus of science. Mathematics.
But they said it's arts and humanities will be
I'm talking about mathematics, the nucleus of science. We are talking about science and technology. Look at this studio. Science and technology. Mathematics is the nucleus of science. We are agitating for what we call economic growth and development. They are taking us back. Mathematics and English language happen to be a core subject in West African Senior School Certificate Examination. Look at them. They want to take us back. Why are you taking us back?
But that's the federal government.
The federal government that has lost direction. Now you are saying that it's not necessary. Anybody applying for art and humanities does not need mathematics anymore. I don't think this government is serious. I have to be frank and sincere with you. This is not a serious government. Look at Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran. They invested in their youth. Do you know what Iran said? You may have destroyed our nuclear facility, but you can never destroy the knowledge that the Iranians has gotten. That is how to know a leader. Then the government is now telling us that it's not necessary for those who want to apply in art and humanities to take mathematics. I think the government is not serious. For now, take mathematics. Mathematics is a good subject. Look at our grandmom and our granddad. They did not go to school. But when you come to the issue of counting money, how do they know? When you give grandma 1,000 naira and you buy something for 200 naira. How does she know that your change is 800 naira? Is that not mathematics? This government is not serious.
Anyway, let's move from that on seriousness, like you called it, to something else this morning. Senate received Tinubu's request to confirm new INEC FCC heads. That's the story. Amopiton is to become the INEC chairman. What do you make of this?
What do you expect before? But there is one thing Nigerians are saying. You cannot be the judge over your own case. That the time has come for INEC to be truly independent of the influence of the executive arm of government. So that was why people like me always advocate that the third arm of government, which is the judiciary, should be involved in appointing or nominating the substantive chairman of INEC and the REC, resident electoral commissioners.
Yeah.
They should be saddled with that responsibility. But there is a question to be asked now. How just is the justice system in Nigeria?
Perhaps we should
A judge who is just will deliver a just judgment, and that judgment will be adjudged to be justice. But when an unjust judge delivers a judgment, how do you call that? Will you call it a just judgment? That is the problem we are having. We are talking about the issue of morality here now. But in law, they will tell you that there is difference between morality and legality. But laws, we are made by man. But we are made by man. Man is not for law. But laws are made for men. Do you know why law was established? To regulate our lives and conduct. To check everyone. But there is what we call the freedom of expression. But your freedom of expression also has a limit. It has a limit. Your freedom of association also has a limit.
Let's quickly itemize your expectations for Amopiton. And I'm going to write this maybe later. What are the things you think Amopiton can do differently that can make Nigeria better?
Let him right the wrongs.
How do you mean?
Let him right the wrongs. Nigerians are not happy with INEC. Nigerians are not happy with the elections. Most of our elections have been manipulated, discredited. Professor Mahmoud Yakub is a professor of history and international studies. But whatever he has done right is on record. What he failed to do right is also on record. Now, the ball is in the court of Professor Joash Ojo Amukpitan, SAN, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, to write his name in gold so that the next Nigerian generation will continue to celebrate him. Then he must introduce, if we are using technology for election, it must be hitch-free, without any form of compromise. There was a lot of compromise in 2023 election. And you can see what Nasiru El-Rufai, the confessor, has been confessing. A lot of that, some things we won't say on air. Shocking revelation.
Did you call Nasiru El-Rufai the confessor?
The confessor.
Anyway, I think it's a good place to confess that this segment is over. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Eboselu Ignatius Ofino this morning. Thank you always for your thoughts. Nigerians, stay tuned. Coming up next is the big story where we check the stories and some other important things to discuss today with Yemi after this break. Join us again.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram @Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
In a nation at the crossroads of leadership and conscience, the call to rethink leadership has never been louder. Today on Daybreak Live, we explore a compelling theme, rethinking leadership, a new mindset for a new Nigeria. What kind of leadership can truly heal, rebuild, and reposition our nation? What values must we embrace to birth a new generation of servant leaders? To help us unpack this is a man whose life embodies leadership, service, and faith. He is a theologian, sociologist, peace builder, and global voice on leadership transformation. He has served as the immediate past president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, the Nigerian Baptist Convention, and co-chairman of the Nigeria Interreligious Council, a scholar of repute, an author of many books, and a commander of the Order of Niger, CON. He currently leads Waymaker International Ministry, where he continues to raise leaders with integrity and purpose. Please join me as I welcome His Eminence Reverend Dr. Samson Olasupo Adeniyi Ayokole, CON, a man who believes that leadership is not about titles but transformation. Sir, it's such an honor to have you on Daybreak Live this morning.
Thank you, moderator. God bless you and God bless Nigeria.
Amen. Let's start with this, Doctor. You have led at several highest level, spiritually, nationally, and globally. When you hear the word leadership, what does it mean to you beyond titles and authority?
Leaders, thank you very much, moderator. Leadership is as it stands. It is to lead. It is to be in front and give direction and focus to others behind you. To lead is to have the destiny of many people in your hands. It is wherever you go that they go. It's whatsoever you do that they do. In fact, their day-to-day being is dependent on you. It's like the shepherd. For example, in our setting now in Nigeria, when you talk of the shepherd, you remember the Fulani man. The Fulani man is the one that is always putting his life in danger with the flock in order to feed them. He leads them to the direction that he wants them to go. And he also guides and directs in such a way that the sheep might be out of danger and will be able to get the green pasture needed for sustenance. This is what leadership is all about.
Thank you so much, Doctor. As a sociologist and theologian, how do you interpret Nigeria's leadership problem? Do you think it's primarily about the structure or cultural activities, really?
I think Nigeria's problem with leadership cannot be defined with one word.
Okay.
Is historical. And also, I think it economical too. Because if we go the memory lane, leadership in Nigeria before now wasn't as it is now. A nation, we know that any nation, any society, any organization rises and falls on the quality of its leader. If the leaders are the right type, the nation will grow. It is not about the size of the nation. It is not even how naturally endowed, but how intellectually endowed, and how much of the quality the leaders possess. When Nigeria started, when the colonial people came here, they came to dominate us, taking away our resources to develop their land. But the crop of young Nigerians that rose up by that time, like Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, Ahmadu Bello, etc., they rose up gallantly to fight imperialism, and they won. After winning, even by the time they gave them partial leadership, not complete leadership, these people showed quality, they showed commitment, and they didn't give the colonial masters any doubt that they were ready to govern. For example, these local educated political leaders in the three regions did certain things that cannot be forgotten.
Okay.
Let me take the Southwest for example. Immediately, Chief Obafemi Awolowo became the premier of the Western region. First of all, he established the first television station, not only in Nigeria, not only in West Africa, but the first television station in Africa. Egypt, the northern part of Africa inclusive. Not only that, he established the Liberty Stadium in 1960. He went ahead, he established the Oduduwa Group. This Oduduwa Group was the one that was responsible for an economic master plan in the entire Southwest. Through that Oduduwa Group, industries came to the fore. Industrial zones in Lagos, in Ibadan, etc., etc. This led to economic revolution in the sense that many of the products that the people were using, clothing materials, footwears, etc., were rightly produced here in the Southwest. What happened? People started gravitating from the north, from the east, toward the Southwest because job was available. In fact, the people available then in the Southwest were not enough to man the industries that were created. So there was rural urban migration. People started leaving the villages to come to the urban centers, either to get the white collar job or to be employed by private company, and also to establish their own outfits, businesses. So life started becoming better. Not only this, there was hardly any city or any road connecting any city then that was not tarred in the Southwest. And the way they tarred them was the one that will last the next 50 years, not the one you will put asphalt on today, by the next three months, the potholes will start to appear. That was not the type of job they did.
Okay.
It did not only establish the industries, they also made water available. The water corporation was working efficiently. Even people that couldn't afford to have the water into their houses, the common ones were made for them, where people will just go and turn on the tap from different quarters, get clean water to drink. That also was eliminating unnecessary diseases that will have plagued the people. Apart from this, he established free education. These are people who are determined. They didn't put money into their pockets, but to serve the people. They didn't see leadership as opportunity for self-enrichment. No, they saw leadership as opportunity to bail people out of poverty, to bail people out of ignorance, and to make life better for their fellow Nigerians. The same man went ahead and established Obafemi Awolowo University in 1965, which used to be the University of Ife, making education free for all children, so that ignorance might be beaten hands down. You know how much was committed to that. In fact, other regions thought that it wouldn't be possible, but he did it. It was after he did it that others started embracing it. That was leadership. We don't have task-oriented leaders anymore in Nigeria. And if we have them, they are very negligible, very few. That is the bane of leadership in Nigeria. The leadership of today is a leadership that is ready to recoup all the monies that were unnecessarily spent on electioneering campaigns. And they are the people who will say, this is my opportunity. It is not my own opportunity, the opportunity of my family. And they will begin to vandalize our Commonwealth. They will begin to corner our commonwealth into their own pocket. This is the problem of leadership that we have now in Nigeria. And you also see the value system there was better. In those days, we experienced it. Some of us were born before independence. We experienced this. The leaders that we had then lived austere life. They were not extravagant. They were not flamboyant. Their children went to the school that the rest of us went to. And because their children were in the school in which we were, they made sure that the standard was high. Because whatsoever happened to the children of the common man, the common people, will happen to their children too. They made security available. Then there was security. There was nothing like kidnapping today, abduction tomorrow, government today, whatever meant tomorrow. The nation was safe. For the houses that could afford electricity then, electricity was not erratic. It was stable. So people were coming from all over the world to Nigeria because our currency was very strong.
And the oil boom also helped us greatly.
The oil boom had not come by that time.
Okay.
I'm talking pre-oil boom.
Okay.
When they developed our agriculture.
Okay.
In the north, agriculture was developed, and cotton and groundnut were part of the economic state of Nigeria. We were exporting them abroad and getting a lot of foreign earnings. You have heard of the groundnut pyramid in Kano in the north. That led to the expansion of Kano City to a monster city that it is today. That was the era of the cotton boom, the era of the groundnut boom. And also in the east, then there was the rubber production, there was the coal mining in Enugu, and there was also the palm produce that was booming in the southeast. Palm produce was booming in the southwest too. Cocoa was of a major economic state for Nigeria by that time. And now the same Awolowo laid the foundation of the cocoa house. When that foundation was laid, it was the tallest skyscraper in Nigeria. So everything first. That's why the Oyo state is still being reverted today as a space setter state. Because they bring out new things that never happened before.
Started
in the nation. Started springing up. And as if it was a drama, everything was becoming reality. That is what Nigerians are waiting for today. So if we are going to assess the leadership of today, they are killed by selfishness. And they are killing the nation by selfishness. They are also behaving as prodigal children that don't know the value of money, and is not even promoting the value of hard work. Now you woke up very early in the morning because you knew and you came here because you knew that it is better for you to sweat and work with your hands than to go and steal or go into prostitution. Yeah, that was part of the home culture that you have received. So apart from blaming our leaders in the political sphere, we also need to blame our leaders at home, our parents. The parenting has become another thing today. Let me give you an example. One time, the one university that where I served as a visitor, one lady had one student had a problem of indecent dressing, violation of the rules of the university with reckless abandon. So the university was fed up. After warning, they said that girl should go and bring the parents. They want to see the parents. So the mother came. By the time the mother appeared, the way the mother was dressing, the university authority was not able to talk again. Because the dressing of the lady, the student, was even better than that of the mother.
It was hard to point out certain things.
The mother, with her age, still dressing as an adult, obscene dressing. Everything was like as if you had just dressed a mannequin. You wonder what this lady has gained over the years. And when the university saw that, they said, this girl it may not be possible to redeem this girl again. If the mother is like this, there is nothing to say again. That is the quality of parenting that we have today. The people that are taking classes about kidnapping and killing people, didn't they come from a home? Each of them comes from a home. With what values were they brought up? Unfortunately, some people that are still in formulating our educational policy, I'm very sorry to say this, and with due respect to Nigerians, some of them I don't think they are okay upstairs. Some are sick mentally. Instead of promoting moral values, godly values that will help us rescue our nation from total collapse, they are still fighting with including religion as subject to be taught. They are fighting with doing devotion before going to the class. Those that are taught the fear of God, it takes extra effort to see them do what they were taught. Talk less of the children that were not taught. They were not given the opportunity at all. What is the society going to become? People saying they are Boko Haram, they are Al-Qaeda, they are ISWAP, and the next business is how they can inflict injury on their fellow human beings. Human beings you cannot create. You just destroy like that because you are crazy in the air, you are sick. Some people will just take up gun and say that they are going to waylay you on the road, ambush you, take your resources and carry it away. In what type of home did they grow up?
Doctor, I have a question.
Yeah.
You spoke about something. You talked about the likes of Obafemi Awolowo, the likes of Abat Macaulay. Those persons did so well. Do you think because of the new leaders, the young leaders that are now ruling us now, didn't get a chance, for these people to mentor them? And that's why we are in this situation. Because a lot of them, those past leaders, they did so well. So why is it so difficult for that standard to be maintained? Do you think it's because of a lack of proper mentorship by those past leaders?
No, I think the problem was in those days, those leaders that came up initially, who took over from the colonial masters, had good home upbringing.
Okay.
The parents of today don't have time again for their children. I'm a sociologist. Socialization, the first school of socialization is the family. When a child is born, that child is a biological bundle. It becomes a social being, a social bundle through continuous education. There are so many institutions where the child is exposed to that. The first institution is the family institution, followed by educational institution, and even followed by the workplace. Because each workplace must have its own ethics, its workbook, rules and regulations. But if you have not been well brought up at home, we also have the religious institution, which is also educating people, teaching the fear of God, respect for the nation, respect for fellow human beings, etc., etc. I think gradually, because we are appearing too busy, many of the players in these institutions don't have time. The parents don't have time to be with their children. It's the house help that they know more than their parents. The pastor doesn't have time for his children. He's tending other people's garden. He fails to tend his own garden. When you focus on the outside without any focus on the inside, then the inside will disturb the outside. So the educational institutions, the teachers don't have time because they say they are not paid well. They leave their primary assignment, they go and look for other petty things to do in order to make ends meet. And they are signing, leaving the assembly now, signing, they go out again. For businesses. So the moral decadence, if about is bigger than that, which has affected the quality of people that are leading us. The church. How many churches now today really have time for teaching the kerygma? The kerygma is the unbroken word of God, the raw message, the raw word, the word of life. People just go to the pulpit more often than not today to preach what people want to hear. When we made them laugh and clap hands.
Not what they need to grow spiritually.
No, not what they need for daily bread. For heavenly focus, for making impact in the society, positive impact. They celebrate in the church. Unfortunately, we've celebrated the rich. Despite the fact that it is the same people that are oppressing people in the society, we celebrate them because of what we want to take from them. This is what we teach Baptist pastors, the way not to go. That's why we make training very important. You must at least be in the seminary or college of theology for 3-4 years in the least. And we watch you, we train you, we teach you to make sure that you are well grounded. Emergency pastors just emerged today. No background, nothing. And they continue to bamboozle the people. They leave the engrafted milk of the Spirit and begin to dance around the truth. They do test twisting. They force the word of God to say what it doesn't say. They force the word of God to say what is in their mind, what the word of God is saying. I traveled to Israel with one person, I will not mention the name,
Okay.
very highly placed, was interpreting a passage of the scripture. This is somebody who will just take a picture, a passage in isolation. Will not care about what happened before that statement was made and what happened thereafter. Just took it out of context, not within context, and was interpreting it. I said, I was trying to keep quiet, but because I knew more than that, I said, no, many people are listening to you. You are leading people into error. That passage is saying more than that. Do you know what happened before? That led to that statement, and what happened thereafter is more than that. Go and read commentaries. Have you ever read commentary on that passage? You have never. You didn't have the time. To be a balanced teacher of the Word of God, you need to be taught yourself, first of all. You can't teach what you don't know.
Absolutely.
So, before what you know does not jump into your head. You study for it. You study it. You memorize it. You internalize it.
Doctor, because of time, I would allow this to continue, but then we need to touch some certain areas too. And I want to believe that people listening to you now can begin to right some of the wrongs that they are doing currently. A lot of persons have argued that, it's not about having a good leader, but people who work under that certain leader also have a huge role to play. So the leader can have good intent, but the people that work under that leader, if they are not ready to make it work, it might not work. What do you make of that?
Yeah, birds of the same feather flock together.
Okay.
If we have the head is good, that is a major breakthrough.
Okay.
A good head will be able to identify another good head. And little by little, they multiply themselves. When Awolowo was here, I'm not deifying him, but we did what was humanly possible to allow many of us to know the four walls of the school, and to give us a lease of life. He raised some people. He raised some people. And those people also, even if they didn't outperform him or perform out to what he did, they also made their marks. People like Jack and etc. These were called Awois, whom Awolowo raised up and followed in that pathway and also made impact. So, but Awolowo had time to develop them, to groom them, to mentor them. They also submitted themselves for mentoring. But today, people are not, they don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want to be mentored because they feel that they are educated, like the person that will mentor them. The only opportunity that one has is the opportunity of being in charge. When they are in charge also, they can do what he's doing and do better. Pride, lack of submission, which has to do also with home background. The background so much matters, and it is what we are overlooking today. But let me also say that if somebody is evil and decided to be a thief, to sell that person, whether male or female, I will say that I decided to sell or sear with iron his or her conscience. Because there is nobody created by God without conscience. Even if you were not brought up by any morally sound parents, you know that evil is evil. Your conscience is telling you that evil is evil. But if you have seared your conscience with iron, when the conscience is pricking you, you don't listen to it again. You subdue it, and it becomes quiet. That is what is happening today. Some of these people in leadership enjoyed the opportunities that those before them who did well, the good they did, they enjoyed it. Why didn't have the conscience of reciprocating that, of giving the generation after them the opportunity to do that? So what is lacking today is people that are committed to the continuity of what is good and what is desirable. In fact, the book of Philippians chapter 8 is what we should look at seriously these days. We don't only need a renewal of our minds, we also need to commit our minds to what is good, what is trustworthy, what is praiseworthy, what is of good report, what is people can see and praise God for. That will benefit the large majority of people, not myself alone. Look, I studied in England, not for show, but God gave me the opportunity. And I saw that one thing that is making crime to be less in the Western world that is the provision of basic amenities to average citizens over there. In my presence, I've gone to a place there where they were auctioning a whole vehicle. A whole vehicle moving, you kick and it's working for £50. A whole vehicle, £50. And you say, £50, they were going, £50, £50, £50. Somebody raises his hand, £50, £50. If they can't see any other person.
There's no highest bidder. He gets it.
Yes, they beat the table and it becomes yours and you drive it away. £50. Now, if you can get vehicle for £50, why should you go and steal vehicle? Why? It's easily, cheaply available for all and sundry. But here, it is only some people that are entitled to 24-hour, 7 light. Only some people that can make provision for it, that we enjoy water, uninterrupted water supply.
Doctor, okay, apart from these all crimes that, the leadership failure has caused, there's also the aspect of coercion. We do, a lot of persons are finding it difficult to tolerate each other. But then you're a peace builder, sir. I want you to tell us, give us your perspective on these. From a peace building perspective, how can leaders promote national cohesion in a country fragmented by ethnicity, religion, and politics? Because bad leadership has led to a lot of things, tribalism, bigotry, and people find it difficult to tolerate each other. Really, can you speak on that?
Number one. If we are going to have a new society,
okay,
unity of purpose is very important. A nation divided against itself cannot stand. People forgot or don't even know that ethnicity, tribalism were defined by our maker God to scatter us, not to unite us. In the Bible that I know,
okay,
in the book of Genesis chapter 11, God wanted human being to multiply and spread through the service of the heart. But man took another decision that they were not going to separate. They were going to be, instead of building vertically on the, horizontally on the floor, they were going to build it vertically. A building that will go to the sky and reach the throne of God. Did God create you to come and insult him in heaven? When God saw that, and God saw that the weapon they were using was this weapon of unity. They were united, they speak the same language. And they say, okay, I know what I will do for you. It confused their language. That was where ethnicity came in. Ethnicity should be what we remember today and be weeping. Because it was a weapon of division, so as not to be strong, to be able to do anything. But where you are united, you don't think in terms of ethnicity, religiosity, etc. You think as one people. Without any intention to use either ethnicity or religiosity to cheat others, to lord it over others. Where all those things are no longer existing, then there will be strength. There will be progress. Because we see ourselves as one family that we are. So I believe that what the National Orientation Agency should be teaching and all the religious bodies is not the type of terrible sermons that we are hearing, either in the church or from the mosque. Some very, very, very sick clerics preaching as if the world ends with them. What we should be preaching as religious leaders is loving one another. Jesus says, whoever you have the power to help or within your power to help is your neighbor. Don't look for your neighbor in somebody who is of your ethnic group. Your ethnic group is symbol of division. It's not symbol of unity. So you should be careful. And again, we need to emphasize love. Love for one another.
All right, Doctor, before we go, can you quickly speak on the leadership conference that is coming up so that people can learn from that in case they have a chance to attend?
Yes, the insightful leadership that we are organizing this weekend,
Okay.
I mean, beginning from Thursday
Okay.
and on Friday at Orita Baptist Church, is born out of the desire to change the narrative for leadership in Nigeria.
Okay.
You will see that one of the problems we have in Nigeria is the problem of consumer economy. Our economy is not a productive economy. Before the economy can be a productive economy, which will be able to employ a lot of people, take many people out of the street just roaming about, we put food on their table, we put laughter on their faces. You need a leader with IQ who has insight. In the book of Chronicles, the Bible says that the sons of Issachar, they were men of understanding, and they knew what Israel ought to do. That was insight. The others didn't know it, but the sons of Issachar, they saw what others didn't see. They knew what others didn't know, and they led the rest to do what is needful. So if we are going to reposition Nigeria, we need to move from consumer economy to a productive economy. And to do that, we need insightful leaders. Insightful leaders are proactive leaders. They are leaders who have revelational knowledge to know beyond ordinary, to see beyond the ordinary eye. People who can sleep and think, generate ideas that are necessary to move their nation, their society forward.
Okay.
To move their organization forward.
Okay.
We need to move forward away from where we are now. The Lord God told the children of Israel, you have been on Mount Horeb for too long, parabolating.
That's very profound.
Break camp and move forward.
Thank you so much, sir, for that input on the leadership conference that is coming up, and I want to believe that Nigerian leaders can also learn from this. A big thank you to you, Eminence, Reverend Dr. Samson Olashupu Adini Ayokule, CON, for coming on board this morning to speak to the leadership crisis that we have in Nigeria.
Thank you.
We do hope that next time that we call you, you'll be willing to grace this platform with your presence.
With our pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And God bless Dominion TV.
Amen. Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Amen. All right. Indeed, the conversation today has been more than an interview. It's been a reawakening. His Eminence Reverend Dr. Samson Olashupu Ayokule has reminded us that leadership is not about occupying positions, but influencing positive change. Not about power, but about purpose. Rethinking leadership, as we have heard today, begins with renew our minds from the corridors of government to the corners of our art. As we envision a new Nigeria, may we also embrace a new mindset, one that serves, builds and unites. Our gratitude to His Eminence for sharing such timeless wisdom, and to you, our listeners, for staying tuned. Until next time, keep thinking leadership, keep living purposefully, and keep believing in a new Nigeria. I'm Oluwayemi Adelakwa. This has been Daybreak Live, where conversations inspire transformation. Thank you for being a part of Big Story. We take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Casts. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
All right, I welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us this morning. I'm not alone in the studio again. I have with me Oluwapo Idowu, and is going to help us make sense of something important that we need to discuss on Trend Watch. Please go ahead.
On Trend Watch today, Edo Governor Okwebolo mandates Asiwaju cab for commissioners at meetings. We'll take a short clip now, and when we come back, we'll get some of the reactions of people from across the country.
Yeah, definitely.
No entry. Let me recognize the press. Let me welcome.
And of course, they said if nobody has the cab, then they should not be granted entry. That has created many reactions from people. But of course, we'll just take a few comments. Etelbong Edem says, obviously addressing his pupils to wear their uniforms or they'll be expelled. The drama of foolery is getting excited. Duke of Africa says, very soon, the national flag will be replaced with the Asiwaju cap. That's also
Emmanuel Jacobs has something to say. Maybe the next qualification for office will be who can shout Jagaban the loudest. What a country. It's a very serious issue, honestly, and it's sad that we cannot even unpack all of this, but then I think Nigerians are aware of what is going on, because why should you mandate a certain cap, as pass for entry? This is Nigeria. I mean, it's not supposed to be that way, honestly.
We need to get a cap for ourselves, maybe just to cap it
on Daybreak Live.
Let's cap it with that.
All right. Big thanks to you for being a part of the show this morning. Thank you for staying tuned. Do well to join us tomorrow, sometime 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And until then, I'm saying stay safe. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakwa. Bye for now.
And of course, I'm Oluwapo Idowu. Stay safe, like she said, and do what's right, irrespective of who is watching. Bye for now.